Thank you for listening today on Revealing Wholeness, sponsored by Infinity Whole Health. Check out our website at infinityWholeHealth.com, where we are revealing the eternal in each individual, the infinite in the individual. The creativity is made manifest. Limitation is let go. Now, here's your host, Dr. Troy Munson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness. You know, I get a lot of questions about medications, and I have a lot of clients who come in on multiple medications. I one time had a client come in on 33 medications. And if you think about all the drug interactions that were happening within those 33 medications, I multiplied them out and got conservatively 1,500 chemical interactions just in those 33 medications. Now, I don't know about you, but I know I am not smart enough to even figure out remotely how all those drug interactions are going to affect the human body that has billions of chemicals that it's making every single second. And I know nobody on the planet is smart enough to do that either. And so I don't know if that just seems, if that didn't shock you a little bit to say 33 medications, how is that possible? How is that possible that the person's even alive? And it should also comfort us a little bit that even with 33 medications that her body apparently was lacking or needed to finagle systems and whatever inside her body, because it's a female patient, her body was able to sift through all of that garbage and still take on sustenance and breathe oxygen and carbon dioxide out of her lungs. She was alive. And that should just warm our hearts that our body, we don't really give it a lot more credit than what it really deserves, and that it's a pretty amazing piece of machinery. And that, you know, what if she stopped all those medications? We might have an MD out there that say she'd probably die. And, you know, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure anymore. But, you know, I have a lot of clients, like I say, that are on a lot of medication. And I tell them, I said, you know what, my job is not to get you off medication. I didn't put you on the medication. I'm not taking you off. But I do want to strengthen their body so that medication becomes irrelevant. And now they can just gently let it go. And the MD will take it away, hopefully. You know, so let's look at some conditions. You know, statin drugs, we have cholesterol, the big villain that it is. We've already kind of beat cholesterol up quite a little bit. But having realized now that cholesterol really isn't the big bad guy that it was made out to be, it was the helper to try to help heal the crack in the blood vessel. And now it looks like it's part of the plaque, which it is. And platelets, same kind of thing. If the platelets in our blood, we cut our hand like a paper cut and it starts to bleed, and within 60 seconds, 90 seconds, it's done bleeding. And we go into that little scab and we now see platelets all over the place with red blood cells kind of trying to knit it back together. We didn't vilify platelets. Why did cholesterol get vilified? And so cholesterol is not the problem, it's the fix. For the body anyways, when it bleeds internally because it's lacking things like vitamin C, vitamin E, proper protein, proper minerals that all help our blood vessels stay pliable and not cracking and bleeding from the inside out. And so as we start to heal a body and watch cholesterol be normal and watch HDLs come back into normal range, LDLs, you know, here's a kicker. I just did my cholesterol, and my cholesterol was good, you know, being right around 200. My triglycerides were under 70, which I prefer them under 90. Mine were even just a little bit low because I don't eat a lot of bread or sugar. But then my LDLs were elevated. And it said, well, gosh, I'm at a risk for heart disease. But LDLs are technically, when they're elevated, it says I have a lot of infection fighting capability. And so I'm like, you know, I feel great. My heart is doing great. My blood pressure is phenomenal. My heart scans are beautiful. What does LDL really mean? Is it really damaging? No, especially, you know, when I think about how much I do work with immune on my own body, trying to keep my system up and strong. Because, you know, what do doctors do? We see a lot of sick people. And so my immune system is now resisting all that infection that comes into my office all the time. And my LDLs are above what they would consider ideal, but they're looking at it again as not necessarily in the right light. And so if I really wanted to be kind of anal about my LDLs, I would have separated them out into part A and part B and really looked at them and said, do I really have bad LDLs? But I eat a lot of fat. And so I love fat. I think it's great. And when my cholesterol is normal and my triglycerides are good and my HDLs are good and everything's fine and my LDLs that I know that are more for infection fighting are slightly elevated, I say, okay, they're not catastrophically by any stretch of the imagination. So these are all things that as we learn more and more, we start to have a better idea of what true values really are. And so as I go to work on folks, when they have medications, I'm not interested in taking them off the medication. I really am interested in why they're on the medication, what systems are they trying to support, and where do we need to be working more than others. And here's kind of an enlightening thing that for those of you out there that maybe are on medications and are listening to this, yeah, but I'm on 4 or 5 medications and I don't like that at all. Well, okay, the point at which we get to 4 or 5 medications, we also have to understand that you've had a lot of systems have to go pretty wrong in order to actually get on the medication to begin with. And so to offer a quick fix is not necessarily what I'm also guaranteeing. In fact, I tell folks the more medications you're on, the more work I know I have to do. And the longer it may take in order to accomplish those things. But eventually, those medications can go by the wayside if you're determined to allow those tissues to begin to heal. So let's say that I'm on an acid reflux medication and I'm on a high blood pressure medication. And I'm on, maybe an antipsychotic because maybe I have a little bipolar, maybe I have a little depression going on. And let's say that my doctor's concerned, and so now he's put me on a baby aspirin too. And maybe there's a couple other medications in there. And not only am I on a high blood pressure medication, maybe I'm on a water pill too. I've got all these little things happening. And maybe they've put me on high dose vitamin D or something like that. And so this is kind of typical of what comes in my office. And as we begin to do foundational work, which is, hey, let's go after digestion. Let's start getting the stomach to work. And all of a sudden, after 4, 5, 6 months, they're saying, hey, I don't notice any kind of acid reflux, any kind of symptoms like that. And I feel like my digestion's changed a lot. My bowels are now moving really well. I feel really good there. And we send them back to the MD, and the MD is like, hey, let's wean you off the beta blocker, or not the beta blocker, but the proton pump inhibitor. Let's say that they're now not doing the purple pill anymore, and they're getting a little bit of acid reflux again. And so we're handling that and saying, okay, most of the time when I eat well and I take my nutritional stuff that's helping digestion, I don't have an issue with acid reflux. Great. Let's continue to heal the stomach cells or the parietal cells of the stomach and give them what they need to heal. And then let's move on to the next system that we need to start supporting and healing. And so that's kind of the way we work things here. It's just one thing at a time. I've got some clients that have been on acid reflux medications for over 20 years. It takes time to rebuild a gut lining when they've been on it that long. And, we just know it's time. And as they're really good diet wise, they know, hey, I do better. When I fall off, I know I don't. And so they really become to get hold of their own diet and what they're doing and begin that process. So can you still take medication and still do nutritional work becomes the crux of all this. Yeah, absolutely. Can you still eat well and take your medication? Well, of course you can. And so as we begin to feed the body, you may find, man, I've lost weight. I feel great. I'm sleeping. My energy is through the roof. I wonder what of these medications can really be, taken off. And as we do blood work in the office and watch your blood values change back into normal ranges and what we call optimal ranges, that's even more, sticks on the fire to say, hey, let's plan on getting this medication off your list and let the MD do that. So those are things that you might find, hey, my body is pretty cool. It does heal. It is able to do some things. Whatever I've been doing in my life to this point has probably got me to where I am. So I've got to actually reject everything that I've done to this point, but now adopt something brand new, something that's going to be organized and is going to get me to where I need to be healing wise. So I hope that made sense and came out clear. As mud sometimes, but again, as you have questions, please email me if you have specific, medications and things like that you're wondering about and wanting to bounce some ideas off. Absolutely happy to do that. So anytime, the information's on the end of this, so please throw us a text, throw us an email. happy to chat with you. And until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness.
Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach Dr. Munson at 360-893-8586 or email him at chiroman@dr.com. That's CHIROMAN@dr.com. Check out our current workshop schedule on Facebook at Infinity Whole Health.